beautiful people, and welcome back to Wine Chat. My name is Emma and I'm a certified sommelier with a mission to spread wine knowledge and to help you drink better. Today is part 2 in our wine faults series. Last time we covered corked wine, oxidation and cooked wine, and if you haven't checked it out yet, there is a link below in the description, so make sure you give it a watch after this video. So today we are diving into 3 new wine faults that can commonly pop up in your bottle of wine. And what is so special about these 3 wine faults is that sometimes they can actually be considered to be wine positives. Of course, I am talking about Bretomyces, volatile acidity and reduction. So let's chat about it. Bretomyces, also known as Brett, is a very interesting fault, as at the right level it actually adds a lot of complexity to a wine that a lot of people really enjoy. At the right levels, it will add aromas of rustic farmyard, leather, cured meats, and although they do sound very strange, they can taste delicious in your wine. Brett is a strain of wild yeast that can come from grapes, barrels, or even the winemaking equipment. It will flourish in the cellar and in the winery if conditions are not kept super clean. Now, Brett is going to affect red wine much more than white wine, and this is because white wine has a lower pH and less phenolics, which the Brett seems to absolutely love. However, you can sometimes find some Brett on Gewürztraminer or Sauvignon from Loire Valley. However, in most occasions, if you find some Bretomyces in your white wine, it's going to be really undesirable. It can feed off the sugars in your wine, and it loves to grow in warm and humid conditions. To avoid having any trace of Bretomyces in your wine, winemakers can do a few things to try and avoid it. One of those things is keeping the barrels and winery equipment as clean as possible. They can add sulfur dioxide to the wine to create a safe environment. Fermenting the wine to complete dryness, removing the sugar, reduces some of the risk. Or they can keep the wine in a cooler location, such as underground cellars, or even chilling the wine so that Brett can't grow. When it's bad, Bretomyces can smell and taste like Band-Aids, sweaty socks, the smoky sulfur smell, animal sheds, and to some people it even smells like sewage. It can also leave this awful kind of metallic taste on the finish of the wine, which just coats your mouth and completely destroys the wine. I personally don't mind just a small amount of Brett in my Syrahs or Cabernet Sauvignons, especially if they're a little bit older. It kind of helps to accentuate the territory flavors and adds just a little bit of something extra to the wine, you know? I did recently have a really bad experience with a bottle of Italian natural wine that was just so full of Brett. It was like almost undrinkable. I tried to decant it to try and blow it off a little bit, but it just had this horrible metallic flavor on the finish that just coated your palate, and you couldn't taste anything, and it was so heartbreaking when this happens to you. So I don't mind a small amount of Brett, but if it makes my wine undrinkable, then it's not something that I want to see in my bottle. If you've ever opened a bottle of wine and it smells like vinegar or nail polish remover, then the wine most likely has volatile acidity, or VA for short. Volatile acidity comes from certain acids in the wine, such as acetic acid, which can come from bacteria or yeast, and it can occur at any stage of the winemaking process. The bacteria or yeast can get into the wine through damaged grapes, bugs that come in through the grapes, or even when oxygen is able to get in touch with the wine. In lower levels, a little bit of VA can be really enjoyable by adding a little bit of complexity to the wine, making it seem more lifted and bringing a kind of tart raspberry aroma. But in most cases, VA is going to bring flavors of nail polish remover, paint thinner, or vinegar, and it's just going to completely overpower your beautiful wine. VA can also be an indicator of unclean winemaking as well. Now, we all know that wine having too much contact with oxygen can be a terrible thing. But did you know that wine having very little to no contact with oxygen can be just as bad? Yes, I am talking about reduction. At its most extreme and disgusting end, reduction is going to smell like rotten eggs, boiled cabbage, or like a stinky sulfurous smell. But at the lower and much more enjoyable end of the scale, it's going to smell and taste like a struck matchstick or some gunflint. Reduction happens when the wine is held in an airtight state and sulfur compounds such as hydrogen sulfide and mercaptans start to form. Wines that also have prolonged lees contact during their aging process can also gain some reductive characteristic, as the dead yeast cells have an antioxidative effect. I really like a bit of reduction in my Chardonnays, but you can also commonly find it in some Sauvignon Blanc or Syrah as well. If you have a wine that is all about the purity of the fruit, then reduction is not your friend at all. Now, wines that are bottled under screw cap actually have a higher chance of being reductive, as the screw cap creates an oxygen-free environment, unlike a cork. If you want to try and get the reduction to blow off from the wine, then try decanting it or swirling it around in your glass, as the presence of oxygen is going to reduce the reductive aromas. Another trick to get rid of reduction is to drop a copper coin into your decanter or glass. The reductive sulfur compounds will react with the copper, creating a reaction which creates a harmless, odorless compound called copper sulfide. Now, this is going to help remove all the funky, smelly aromas. Personally, I've never tried this, but if you have, let me know how it worked out for you. I would love to know. Well, team, that is all from me today. I hope you have enjoyed this part 2 wine fault video as much as I have. I really enjoyed getting into some of the science and the nitty-gritty behind this beautiful grape juice that we all love to drink. Now, let me know in the comments below, are you a lover or a hater of the 3 wine faults we've talked about today? The Bretomyces, volatile acidity, and reduction. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, do give it a like. I appreciate all the support I get. And if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to do that. We have new videos coming out every single week. Well, until next time, guys, remember, drink better, be better.